You have to know that it can only come back to total normality if
when
the banking system will come back again, since for weeks now banks are closed.
Yeah.
So people as well as businesses have no access to cash or any sort of business and banking transaction.
And
so
we're expecting the banks to open on Thursday, right?
we expect them to open on Thursday, and we think that from there on things should go pretty quickly.
What about the sanctions that the EU actually applied earlier on?
The sanction also against the ports have been lifted. The sanctions imposed to cocoa export have been lifted. So we think that people in the rural area as well as the urban area should now generate revenue. Functionaries will be paid. Private sector will start really to run. So we hope that in the next 1 or 2 weeks things really should come back to normal.
Minister Tungara, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, as you know, a few days ago, most of the city of Abidjan was in the darkness.
Yeah.
Today, I'm very happy to announce that light is not only back in the cities of the interior of the country,
yeah,
but in Abidjan. Of course, you have a few dark spots in Yopougon, and we are addressing to that issue now, and that will be resolved by this coming Tuesday. Also, we were faced with a high shortage of petroleum product.
yeah.
But today, cooking gas is readily available. Most gas stations are opening progressively. And by Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, I mean, all of them will be open.
And operational.
No question about that, except those who are severely damaged.
I see. Early in April, President Ouattara launched a presidential emergency relief program. Where do we stand with that, Mr. Patrick?
Yes, the presidential emergency relief program
yes,
objective
yes,
was to rehabilitate most of the basic infrastructure,
like water
supply, electricity, health, waste management, education. Most of these infrastructure were destroyed during the crisis or were lacking investment for the past 10 years. So we were in a situation where, the daily life of population were really a nightmare. And I think that this $100 million program is really coming as a relief to this population at the end of the crisis as we launching, the new development path.
I say, given the objective of this relief program, we know, Minister Tungara, what about the implementation of that program?
Well, like Minister Patrick said, this program was to relieve the population. And one of the characteristics of this government is to set up program and implement them right away.
I see.
Already.
I see.
I can tell you that women who have undergone C-section have done it free of charge. Already, the waste management program has been initiated.
Already started.
And you can see in Abidjan being clean. And the third thing is that the electricity program has been enacted. You have the line Abobo, Azito, who has been repaired. You have Abobo, Yopougon repaired. And you have also the line Abobo Tabo 1 and Abobo Tabo 2 has been repaired in order to give electricity to Burkina Faso. So this is a really program which is on the track.
He's on the right track.
On the right track.
Yeah. One thing we have to insist on also in this program is that we set up a specific organization.
Yeah.
You know that the difficulty we have very often in our countries is that you can have a $100 million project, but how long does it take to set up or to implement the project?
And the president actually mentioned that last month. And
has started because we have a specific contracting procedures, we have specific payment procedures, because we knew we have to go fast. If we really wanted to use the normal and usual channel, 6 months from now, we won't even have started. So this is a very important thing, knowing that in the coming month, beyond the President Emergency Relief Program, we will have a government emergency program. So the absorption capacity is a key factor on implementing any program.
Okay. Now, where do we go from here, from now, talking about to concentrate on key sectors, Mr. Tungara?
Well, I think that you have to do three things. First of all,
Yeah.
consolidate the peace process. And secondly, we have to create a sound business environment where the driving forces are going to be democracy, rule of law,
Yeah.
transparent bidding,
Yeah.
fight against corruption,
Yeah.
bribery, and has set high standards of ethics.
So that's basically will reassure the foreign direct investment to actually come into the Cote d'Ivoire and do whatever they need to do, right?
Indeed, you have to create the
Environment.
proper business environment to attract a foreign investment. And if you attract foreign investment, the foreign investor would need trained people.
Absolutely.
So that's why you have the third key is to
Education.
have education. Good education, good training for the Ivorian youngsters who, because they didn't have a job, resulted in becoming a militia.
I see.
Yes, what I want to add up to that
Yeah.
is that, and he pointed out, very important, private investment. You know, we used to have donors aid, institutional development agency,
Yeah.
the World Bank, the IMF, the African Development Bank, the European Union, you know, a lot of development agencies. But what you have to understand is that the amount of money you can get through these institutions is really far from what we need to launch a real lasting development. Meaning one way or the other, the key factor will be private investment.
Private investment.
And there's no way you can get private investment if you don't have the proper, you know, environment.
Business environment.
And this is key. He raises issue like democracy, rule of law, transparency in bidding. As long as people will have the impression that we are not transparent in bidding, you will not have banks coming in, and you will not have key multinational big business, you know, contractors interested coming into the country. So it has to be very clear. And he pointed out it's so important for President Alassane Ouattara. Transparency in biddings, fighting corruption being, you know, good governance issue. You know. So I just wanted to raise these few issues.
Great. Can we, Mr. Tungara, can we talk about the key economic sector that you will be focusing on, such as like energy and mining and so on and so forth?
Well, the first sector has to be agriculture.
Agriculture, oh yes.
As you know, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast is the first producer of cocoa, the first producer of African producer of palm oil, the first producer of rubber. So what we ought to do first is to come up with a strong program, reform program of the cocoa sector. And we have to encourage development in rubber sector, cotton, and thirdly, in agriculture, we need to modernize our agricultural system so the young people can stay in the countryside instead of coming to Abidjan and increasing the unemployed people.
I see.
So
decentralizing in a kind of way.
Right. You have to really go and modernize, make a lot of mechanization of agriculture in the countryside.
So the energy comes as a second position.
Energy would be second. You know, you cannot have any development if you don't have cheap energy. Yeah. So President Ouattara instructed my department to increase oil exploration and mineral exploration.
Yeah.
What we want to do, we want Ivory Coast to be the main energy market in West Africa. We will not be certainly another Kuwait, but we can be the most important marketplace for energy and petroleum product. As you know, most of the African producers are south of Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
Their production pass by Cote d'Ivoire, go to Europe or elsewhere, America, be refined, and the product come down to Africa.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to create here again is an environment to attract business in the petroleum industry, and also create a hub for electrical energy.
Yeah.
As you know already, we're selling electrical power to Ghana, to Benin,
Mali,
to Togo, Mali, and Burkina Faso.
Wow. What about the infrastructure, Mr. Patrick?
Infrastructure is quite important in President Ouattara's program. And beyond that, you have to understand one thing. He raised the issue of agriculture. What are the three key pillars that made Cote d'Ivoire what Cote d'Ivoire is? We used to call Cote d'Ivoire, we used to say in Cote d'Ivoire 30 years ago that Abidjan and all this development is a miracle, you know. But you have to know that it was based on three key factors. Agriculture, infrastructure, and education. You know. With these three key factors, you can draw any business in, export, and develop the country. So infrastructure, right now, the main objective is for ports to be a hub of the West African region. You know that the Abidjan port is one of the leading ports of West Africa. But we have a new project that has already been signed. Construction will start in a few months from now to build a new container terminal. And by the new container terminal, a free zone of the port, attracting enterprise from all over the world to produce goods for the West African region, the West African market. You know that in the 16 countries of ECOWAS, we have more now than, we're talking about 150 or 180 million people.
Wow.
Something like that.
Living in the region.
It's a huge market.
It's a tremendous market.
It's a huge
big
market.
Yes.
And we need infrastructure not only within the country, talking about highway, road, not only for the country, but also for West African integration to access different markets. So we'll have to build new highways. We'll also have airport. Abidjan has the ambition to be a West African hub.
A free zone.
A free zone also on the airport. And we have also to do some extension of the airport and certification of the airport. Naturally, this is one of our main objectives. Road maintenance, water infrastructure. It's a huge program that we have the ambition to realize in the next few years.
Do you have anything to do on the financial sector, financial services?
Yeah, the financial service, we have a kind of dynamic banking sector, but unfortunately with the difficulties in the past 10 years, it has been really working that well. So there is new financial instrument for the West African region, the UMOA, I mean the West African Monetary Union environment, and there's a lot to be done there, as well as the tourism sector. You know, it's a huge potential in the Ivory Coast, an untapped environment sector, because also to have the development of the tourists, you need infrastructure, you know, and it's something very complex when you go to a financial institution, because some people are saying you need traffic to build infrastructure, and others are saying
infrastructure will bring traffic.
Infrastructure will bring traffic, and that's what we have here in Cote d'Ivoire. This is something you see in Dubai and in most of the other countries. You know, go ahead, build infrastructure, the traffic will come, and then they will bring the traffic. You know. So this is the way we'll be going forward.
Well, ministers, thank you very much for this edition. We now come to the end of our program, but until I see you next time, I will leave you with this quote by Abraham Lincoln. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Therefore, fellow Ivorian, we urge and encourage everyone to participate in the democracy process where the foundation were laid out by the President Alassane Ouattara. That's it for now. See you next time on TCI, the channel and the only channel for peace in Cote d'Ivoire. Thank you.